are watching Melody Lane. With me, you're gonna have a great crafting time.
Here's a shout out to a few of the people who support this channel on Patreon. Beth, Marion, Diane, Maria, Patricia, Sandy, Trish, Lisa, Annie, Jerry, Peggy, Sonia, Becky, Eva, Stephanie, Lisa, Brittany, Judy, Jennifer, Bonnie, Anna, Anissa, Heather, Bridgetta, Kathy, Millie, Nicole, Kimberly, Amanda, Jeannie, Patricia, Johnny, Shauna, Karen, Susan, Jacqueline, Barbara, Nancy, Catherine, Leslie, Susan, Meta, Melinda, Christine, Rose, and Mary Jane. And thank you. A big shout out to my co-sponsors. You guys are amazing. Good morning, everyone. So glad to see so many people here. We are here every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That's 8 a.m. Pacific. So good morning, all of you on the West Coast. Thanks for being here so early. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Here it comes. Okay. Today, in the last video I did on Thursday, I asked, what do you guys want to learn? Because I didn't have any ideas yet. So the first comment says, can you tell us when to weld and when to attach? They get confused. So we're going to try to go over that. That won't take very long, really. So if you have other questions, please put them in all caps. I may miss questions because I cannot read the chat and teach at the same time. I have to go back and forth. Jamie is there. She sometimes messages me some important questions I should answer. I want to shout out to all of you on Facebook and on Twitch. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Every Saturday morning I do a giveaway, but you have to be on YouTube and you have to be able to chat in the chat on YouTube. So if you're in the other places and you want to win a $15 gift card to Amazon or just cash through PayPal, I could give it to you through Facebook. I got to spend $15. Last time somebody wanted it for Michael's Infusible Ink, so I granted their wish. So if you're not on YouTube, go to youtube.com/Melody Lane. It's my live video right now. How long does your color last? They're asking me on Facebook. My hair color? About 2.5 weeks. Okay, let's get to Design Space. The reason we're here. So I can see your chat on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Okay, let's get going. Design Space. Shout out support this channel on Patreon. Beth,
With me,
Marion,
you're gonna
Diane,
have a
Maria,
great
Patricia,
crafting
Sandy,
time.
Trish, Lisa, Annie, Jerry, Peg. All right, sorry guys. I forgot to turn those off. Okay, when to weld, when to attach, and I got some shapes to show you. So what I did here is I typed these words. I did not ungroup them. I did not change them in any way. I typed them out and then I did letter spacing to move them closer together. That's all I've done so far. And I did the same to this one. And I'm going to zoom in to show you something. Nothing is welded. Nothing is attached. That's all I did was type and move the letters closer together. So I want to show you, do you see, I'm going to zoom in a little more just to make sure you can see this. Also, when working with fonts, never have them black. And I'll show you in a second. Look at the black part here on the edge is the actual cut line. So this H is going to cut out of this W. This W is also, it has a cut line you can't see, but it's in there behind it. And it's going to cut that. So you're going to have a piece of the W. You're going to have another piece inside here cut and another piece right here cut where around that curve goes. This will be another separate place. And it's going to cut right here where that goes. And this will be separate. And then we have a cut line right here See, there's a black line between the H and the E. Also here, these will not be in one piece. What welding does is make it so if I were to cut this out of paper, if it was welded, I could pick up just this little piece right here and it would all be one piece. I would not have each letter on its own. If you were to cut it out of vinyl, you would pick it up with transfer tape and it wouldn't be so bad, but you will see the cut lines. If you were to look closely at it, you would see all of these different cut lines. And that's not what you want. Okay? Now, when to attach, these letters aren't even touching. So there would be no reason to weld these. There's also no reason to attach unless I were to ungroup it. Let me make it all back down. This is 125%. So I have not ungrouped or done anything. So let me click make it so you can see. Always test things out and click make it to see what happens. So let's go here. That's just what we want. There's no reason to attach or weld. Now this, it looks okay, but it's going to cut out each letter because I can see those marks. If this was all black, I wouldn't be able to see them. So I just hit cancel. And we're going to change this to black. And this is what it always comes to. I had to change that. Let me zoom in. You cannot see that this is not welded. It looks welded. You cannot see any cut lines. That's because they're black. So never work with a project like this in black, only because it may fool you, not fuel you. It may fool you into not even thinking about welding. So always, even if you want to cut it in black, change it so you can at least see the cut lines. Like right here in this dark gray. So now when I hit make it, I know this color, I'm going to put black down because you can put any color. I could put white down if I wanted on that color. I know to some of you this may seem very beginnerish. It is, but some people do have these questions and are confused. Now, if I were to, let's bring this back down. Let's say I wanted to change this a little bit and we're going to ungroup. So when you click on it and you have an ungroup option, that means it's grouped together. But just because it's grouped together does not mean that it stays like this. So I'm going to show you all the different ways, all the different things that happen because a lot of people get confused. So we're going to try to unconfuse you on this. So if you have questions on welding and attaching and what I'm doing, please ask them now in all caps. So I'm going to ungroup these. So now each letter is ungrouped. I could, let's group that back. Group that letter or word. Let's group this one. Hold on, let me click this one. Let's move this out of the way for now. We're not going to group this one. We're going to move that there. Let's say we want this like this. Let's move that a little smaller. Let's say we want our picture to look like this. Let's zoom in. It still has those cut lines in between each letter. So let's click make it and see what happens. That's not what we want. We grouped those words together, except for the word weld. They were all grouped together, but they're coming out like this. We see this question all the time in my Facebook group, Cricut Design Space with Melody Lane. If you ever have trouble, you can go in there and ask. So we're going to hit cancel because that's not what we wanted. But this is grouped. See, this is grouped, and it was grouped before and it was okay. but that's because we only just typed. But now we have edited it with ungrouping. Okay, so now we want this to be one word. Let me change the color again so you guys can see it better. Can you see those cut lines? And look in the layers panel. See, they're all, each letter is its own layer. Every little line here is a layer. So we're going to weld them. And it's not welding. Why isn't it welding? Let me save this. Let me weld. Okay. Let me start a new design space because frankly that one's been open since last week. And maybe that's why. No, Lori, it can be an option. Like on this one. Oh, no, it's not letting me do anything. There we go. Let's see if it works now. Okay. To get them to stay together, you do not just need to weld. I'm not finished yet. So to get them to be one word, look over here. Let's try this again. Whoops, let me get that out of the way. We're going to click weld. Okay, now it welded. Maybe you shouldn't have Design Space open for a complete week with other 50 other tabs. That's my tip for the day. Now, do you see how this is one word? And over here in the layers panel, it's only one layer. It's not all these different letters. See how that works? Let's hit make it. The attached phrase is not attached yet. So this part I have not welded. I only welded the yellow word. So that is, you can see, hopefully you can see. I don't know how close you can see. Let me see if I can zoom in. I'm way zoomed in. You can see there's no cut line now. So if you were to cut this out with vinyl or paper, there'd be no cut line. You could pick it up on the edge and it would be one piece together. Okay, so we're going to cancel and we are going to zoom back out. Okay, they're saying you can't see the bottom of my screen. Now, once you weld, you cannot unweld. There is no unweld button. You can back it up. You can do this. There it goes, it's unwelded now. So you just have to undo until it's undone. If I were to save the project after I welded, I would never be able to unweld. Never. So if I wanted to weld something and I may want to change it in the future, what I would do is Oh, this is already grouped. So I would group it to keep it together. And then I would duplicate it. And then just hide the whole group that's duplicated. And then I can go back and I will always have that to change it later if I decide I need to change it after it's been welded. So anytime you're going to weld something, duplicate it first, hide it in the layers panel, and it will always be here. If you have lots of text, it is better to weld things so it does not slow down your computer, because a lot of text will slow down your design space, but welding it will help with that time. Okay. I haven't even talked about the fonts I'm using. I don't know. I know this one is DJ Flirt. I love the DJ Flirt. It's so cute. To find out what font this is, you right click over here to find out what any image is. You right click on the layers panel and it's called Elizabeth. It is a Cricut Access font called Elizabeth. So let's weld that back because it's unwelded now because we undid it. So now it's welded. Now let's talk about attach. This is grouped only because all I did was type. I can click on this and change it to anything I want. I can change the font. Can change it to anything I want because I have not manipulated the text at all. If there's a chance where I'm going to want to manipulate the text maybe some other time, or if I'm using a name and I want to go back to this project and make it for somebody else with a different name, what I would do is duplicate it before I move on and then hide it. So I can always do that. Now, if I wanted to change these and ungroup them, so I can maybe, did I ungroup? Okay. Now they're ungrouped. Let's just hit make it and see what happens. If I was cutting this out of paper, this would be no problem at all. You just have to put them in order after they're cut. But if you're doing it with vinyl, you really want them in a certain order. So what I would do if I'm manipulating these, I want the words to be together. I would group them. Okay, so now these are grouped. Let's see what happens when we make it. Same thing. Nothing changed. But now I want to group. Say we just want to do something like that. So I'm going to group these all together. I want them to cut out like this, and I'm going to hit go. Okay, guys, remember, not everything I'm doing is correct yet. I'm showing you what happens when you don't do it correct. It's not how I put it on the mat, even though I grouped them. Grouping is only for things on this canvas. That is all it's for. Like if I wanted to group this entire thing or hide this entire thing, it's easier because they're grouped. I can hide it just by clicking the group right here. And it makes it so much easier when things are grouped. You can size things when they're grouped together. So you want them all the same size. Now I can attach them. Remember how they were just all lined up when they got cut? If I attach them and click make it, now they're how you want them on the mat. There's not a reason to weld them because they're not touching. But if you have a lot of text and your design space is going slow, you might want to weld them. I have them duplicated and hidden. right? Maybe. I think I do. Doesn't matter. I'm not keeping this anyway. I had them hidden. So if I wanted to weld, nothing is going to look any different except for the layers panel. See, in the layers panel, they're only one layer. Let's undo that. In the layers panel now, they're grouped. They're grouped within a group, and here's a group for each word. Remember, I grouped it, and then I grouped all the words together, and they're all taking up all this space here, and they're attached, and they will cut out just fine. But say I have a lot of words, I might want to weld it. So you can always weld it, and you get the same results, except where you cannot unweld. Okay, does that make sense? Now that's with words. If you have questions about grouping and attaching, let me know. They do not have to be touching to weld, but see, I welded these. These are welded. As you can see over here, they're welded. They're not touching. I'll zoom in. They're not touching. Welding does not make them touch. Welding or attaching or grouping does never move your letters together. I think that might be where some people get confused. No, none of this needs to be flattened. Flattened is only for printing. If you want them to touch, okay, let's work with this for right now about welding and touching. These have a line through here, the cut line. They're not welded together. They're just each separate letters. Now I can weld these, and this is not touching. It did not move it closer to do it. I think that's one thing people want the letters to touch. Let me bring in another text. Okay, let's do a different word. Let's do a cursive word. Okay, so this, well, it's kind of cursive. If I were to weld this, it doesn't do anything except for just keep it as it is. Now I'm going to undo it. We're going to change the color so we can see this better. Let me make it bigger so you can see it better. If we want the letters closer together, because we welded it, it is no longer where we can move them together. Now the only way to do it, it's not welded, is it? Oh, it is still welded. Let me ungroup it until it's not welded. Let me go back. I must have moved it a lot. There we go. No? Is it still welded? No, it's not. Okay, let's change it back to that color. Okay, make it bigger. Now we can do the letter spacing. So we can move it closer together this way. I want these touching. So the only way to do that is to ungroup and move these closer. Now let's weld. Let me move this up so you can see it better. There we go. Weld is down here. So now you don't see the cut line between the letters. Yes, it is hard to choose fonts. I agree with that totally. Okay. Now let's talk about these. We saw these were all on different mats. You got the 2 hearts, 2 triangles, 2 circles. Okay, so I'm going to weld these together. I'm going to weld. It changed it all to one color. It's all one shape now. These are not 3 different shapes. They're all together in one line. Now let's go over here. These are all separate lines we're going to attach. They all change to blue, to the same color, but they have a cut line. They're still on 3 separate lines. This circle is still going to cut out this circle, but it's going to have this heart piece cut through it. It's also going to have this triangle cut through it and part of the heart cutting through the triangle. This is going to be many, many pieces, many more than 3 pieces. It's going to be like 6 or 7 pieces. I don't know. It's going to be a lot of pieces because they're on top of each other. And when we hit make it, they're all on the same mat because they're all blue. This will be one shape. It will cut out the outside, and this will be the many shapes because it's going to cut through these shapes. It's going to cut the triangle. It's going to cut the circle and the heart. Yes, we have a question, show how to move items to a different mat. Okay, so let's say I want to move this to the yellow mat. I click on it, and when I click on it, I have the option to turn it, or the circle right here has 3 dots in it. You click that and you get the option to move to another mat or hide selected. Let's say I had this and I'm like, oh, I forgot to hide that. I don't want to cut that piece. Or I'm recutting something that didn't work well, but I don't need everything on the mat, so you can hide it here. So we're going to move this to another mat. All we have to do is choose which mat we want to move it to. It will not let us choose the same mat it's on because it would not be a new mat. So if I change it to the yellow mat, it's going to be yellow. I can change it to a brand new mat if I like, just by choosing this. Let's choose the yellow mat. Click confirm. So now it's right here. I can move it. I could stick it over here in the corner, or I could stick it up here, just right next to that, anywhere I want to cut it on the mat. I'm so glad you guys are learning. Yay, I'm so glad you guys have learned something new today. I'm looking at the chat. Would the welded shape work for the background contrasting layer? Well, you can use it for anything you want. Do we all understand weld and attach now? You could put them all on one mat if they were to fit the mat. You would just have to click each one and move them separately. Linda, yes, everything I'm teaching you today is for every single machine that uses Design Space. It doesn't matter what machine you use. Everything I'm teaching today is for all machines. Is there an occasion when you would not want to weld or attach? if you don't edit anything, like if you just type, real good at coming up with words, huh? Let's say I'm just using this. I don't need to edit this at all. So I could click make it. You guys can't see very well when it's black. Let's make it a light color. Okay. I'm going to hit make it. There's no reason for me to attach or weld for this. I mean, it just depends. Always click make it and see what it looks like. You can do this while you're designing before you're ready to cut. If you click make it and you need to go change it, all you have to do is hit cancel. You're not going to break it. Somebody's asking, do you attach them to keep them on one mat? If they're the same color, they're going to be on one mat. If they're separate colors and you want them on one mat, you're going to have to make them the same color. Can you weld then right? So if I was doing a right image, so I wanted to write, I would choose a style that is writing. Let's say it was a cursive writing, and I want to move the letter spacing together. Okay, it's not perfect, but there is absolutely no need to weld this together. It doesn't allow you to weld because there's no reason to weld it together. When I hit make it, it just writes together. Because remember, this is a pen writing it. You're going to put a pen in. So the pen is going to go over each letter and write it, whether it's together or separate. Now, sometimes you want to attach. Let's say, let me bring in oh no, I got shapes here. Let's bring this in. Let's say I want this word to write on top of this. Let's group it together and see what happens. This is what you should do. You should try things. We're going to group it so it all moves together. I can size it together now just by clicking that. Let's hit make it. Okay, let's go down to why is this here? I put it on the blue one. It moved around with it, but it's not on that blue one. That's because you need to attach it. Anytime you're doing writing, you have to attach it to a shape or it's just going to write on your mat or whatever's on your mat. So I need to select them both. Wait a minute. First, let me do this. Let's ungroup. Because so many people are trying to help others and they say group it and then attach it. There's no need to group. It doesn't hurt to group, but it's just an extra step that you don't need to do. So these are separate. They're not grouped. Where are they at? There's the writing and there's that shape. So I'm going to select them both. I know they're both selected because when I look in the layers panel, they're both gray. So we are going to attach them. So it doesn't look any different than when they were grouped. They look exactly the same. But let's hit make it. Okay, now the writing is on that. Is on that shape. What happens if you weld it? I don't even know. Oh, you don't have the weld option because you can't weld writing. I'm looking at the chat, seeing if there's any questions. Yes, you can use line spacing on the iPad, Melanie. Just click edit when you have text on. There's an edit button, and then you'll get line spacing. Somebody wants to know how to write on an envelope without cutting it. So let's pretend you have an envelope that you purchased at the store with a card, but you want to write on it. So what I would do is I would take a shape the size of the envelope. Say it's, let's say it's 5.5 inches wide. Let's unlock it. And 4.25. That's an A2 size card. I would make this white just because. So you guys aren't confused. We're going to put a color in the background. Okay. So if I wanted to write on an envelope, I would add text. Now I have already chosen writing style right here. So this is for Mr. and Mrs. Ashish Aurora. Oh, I always put a U in there. I don't think his name has a U. Okay, and we want it to fit on this envelope, and this certainly doesn't fit. And I think we can put those letters much closer together. So we're going to move the letter spacing. Well, that's a mess. It put them too close. Let's make it smaller for one. And I don't think I put a space here. Oh, I did, but it's not doing a space. Oh, well. Okay. Say we wanted this. If we want it to be closer together, I would ungroup them and move them closer and stuff first. But let's say I want to have this right on the envelope and not cut out, right? Okay. First, let's move these things out of my way. We are just going to deal with this envelope. What I would do, this is what I've taught before. We don't want to cut this. We're going to change this to draw. No, we're going to change it to score. And now we're going to attach this. So this wording that I want written is attached to the same size as the envelope. And I'm going to click Make It. Now, I'm going to put the envelope here, or I can move the envelope anywhere I want. You can measure with the inches on your mat. Place the envelope wherever you want it. Say it has a flap up here, so you want the main part to maybe be down here in case you want the open flap or something. And then place this on your mat. Now this is going to want to score this. If you don't want to score this, don't put the scoring stylus in. You can, let me go ahead and continue, because it's going to ask me for the scoring wheel because I have a maker. Okay, let's just choose cardstock. Now it's asking for the scoring wheel. If I don't put that scoring wheel in, it's not going to do anything for me. So, oh, and it has the pen because of that. Oh, yeah, because it's writing, duh. Okay, so I'm going to click Edit Tools, and I'm going to switch from the scoring wheel to the scoring stylus and continue. Now, it's telling me to put in the scoring stylus first. Guess what? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to have that scoring stylus blank, empty. It's not going to have any attachment in it. It will go through the motions of scoring it, but we're not really going to score. We're tricking it. Okay? So it's not going to score. When it thinks it's done scoring, it will tell you to put the pen in. So it will write Mr. and Mrs. Ashish Arora. Sarah, I showed how to get the font to write and not have the outline of the font, and I will show it again. But we had another question. I'm going to cancel this. Somebody said, why do you score it? Because we have to attach the wording inside a box, and I want it to be in the middle of the envelope. So in order to get the words to go right in the middle of the envelope, like I could have centered it and did all that so it was exact, but I need to attach it to something. And so I did score, but I'm not really scoring it because I didn't want to do cut because it would cut the envelope. And we don't want to cut the envelope. Snap Mat is still available on the iPad or iPhone. So you could use Snap Mat. Okay, let's detach this. Okay, now let's make it again. Thank you, Ronald. He says, if I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. Thank you. So now it just put this anywhere. It would have put it up at the top if this wasn't here. We would have to just place this somewhere on the mat and then hope we place the envelope in the same way. This square shape, attaching this to it, just gives us a guide. We're not actually going to score. We're not going to cut. It's a guide to help us get it into the center. I hope that helps answer your question. Now let's go back to the people who missed the part about the writing. Okay, now if I were to turn this into writing, I can change this to write or draw. It's going to do the bubble shape. And that's what a lot of people get confused on. It just does a bubble shape. So if I want text, you have to start with new text and you have to choose the style. On the iPad or iPhone, it's also right next to the font. You'll see style. You have to choose writing. Now, the font that we're on is only a writing style. So let's do a different one that's not only writing. So this has regular. Let's type something. Let's type the word style. Whoops. Okay, this black one here. It has regular or writing. Now, if I were to do regular and change this to draw, it's the bubble letters. But if I were to regular and change it to writing, it's the style writing, which actually this one has bubble letters, but that's the style of the Agent Q. So it does the writing and then also draws a line in the center. Thank you, Kiona. If we chose Adelaide, it would be like that one. There's some, I like the Carly one. It's a new one. Carly sketch. So this one fills in the letters. And I know, Melanie, you were asking, or no, it was Lynn, was asking about filling in letters. If you were to cut this one with a marker or write this one with a marker, it would probably fill this in depending on how small. If you have it really small, it's going to fill in with the pen. If you have it really big, you're just going to see the lines. I hope that makes sense. If any of you have questions, I know some of you might not have known about SnapMat. I have a video from when SnapMat came out. It's a complete video on how to use SnapMat. Just search on YouTube for Melody Lane SnapMat. Are there any other questions? Okay, well, you guys are coming up with questions. Yeah, if you're doing an envelope at the same time, let's clear this. This is in Joan. This style is called Carly Sketch, Karley Sketch. It's a new one. Thank you, Ronald. Let your smile change the world, but don't let the world change your smile. What good advice. Okay, go away. I think I'm having problems because I'm in a beta also. And that's one I was using last. Oh, I don't want to do that. Hold on, guys. I need to find my Cricut plugin. Well, I'm just going to download this one. I don't know which one is which in my computer. So we're going to click this. Well, I don't know why it's doing this. We're just going to start over. Okay, now I have to go over here to my plugins. Okay, I'm moving this over here so you can see. So I went into my folder, click open. Got to put my password for my computer. Wants to make changes, click OK. That's right, Ronald. A person who never made a mistake, never tried anything new. Albert Einstein. It's preparing to install. Okay, while we're doing this, let's do a giveaway. Carol on Facebook says, I love watching you when things happen. You are so calm. Well, there's no reason to get upset about things. So now I think we're good. What am I doing? And I was told I have to switch back and forth between the beta and this one, and I didn't do it. Oh, we were going to do a giveaway. So, are you guys, let me find my Nightbot. And he chooses a winner from somebody who has commented in the last 15 minutes. So, if you haven't commented in the last 15 minutes, you may want to comment now. Hi, Trish. You have to be on YouTube to be entered. Yay, Sherry on Facebook understands now. Okay, now you guys, I do not choose the winner. This Mr. Robot guy does it. And here is the winner. Bam! Olga Robledo? I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce names very well. That is the winner. You must email me at melodylanedesigns@gmail.com. I'm going to put it in the chat on YouTube. The chat is going so fast, so just wait. When it slows down a little. Okay, the giveaway's over. I know there's a delay. Okay, here's my email. It's melodylanedesigns@gmail.com. Also, the winner of last week, you have until the end of the day to email me. If you have emailed me, message me or comment or something. I need to know your address to send you the Raspberry Cricut Cutie, or next week I'm going to give it to somebody else. And what are you guys looking at? Nothing. Do we have any more questions? Okay, have you learned something today? I know some of you haven't because you come to all my videos, and I really appreciate those of you who make it to all my videos. You come and chat and have fun, even though you know everything I'm teaching, because I've done 100 of these classes, and I've done a lot of these. Let's throw flatten in there. Do you guys want to learn how to flatten real fast? Because if you have trouble with weld or attach, you probably don't know flatten either. Can you talk about what ashish means with Cricut going offline? Sure. Oh, Jamie just messaged me that question. I forgot to look at the other questions she messaged. That means you will have the option to work with Cricut Design Space without the internet. That's all it means. It's not going to change for me because I love the internet and I like to be on the internet and I like to design on the internet, so I can have it on my phone or my iPad instantly. Like, I can design something on my phone, save it, go to my computer, and it's there. Thank you, Ronald. My mods do an awesome job. So that's why I prefer online, but the offline, it's going to be an app on your computer. There's already people beta testing it. There's also, this is the really good thing. If you are on the internet and you're in Design Space and your internet goes out and you have a project and you want to cut it, you can cut it without the internet, without having to save it and all this stuff. If you're in the middle of a cut and your internet goes out, it's okay. It will cut without the internet. That's what it means. Some people think it means offline means they're not going to be able to be online, or they're going to cancel Design Space. No, it's just an amazing option for us. It doesn't cost anything. It won't cost you any more. Okay, let me see. Will you still be able to use the cartridges and access? Yeah, you can use all the images. You may have to download them or so. I'm not sure exactly how all that works, but you still get to use all of Cricut images. It's coming before the end of the year, if not sooner. Connie's asking how to center a lot of words on a card. Can I make a Cricut Access flag and design space into an infusible ink design? I don't see why not. Let's go to design space real fast. You can do almost any images unless it's printable into fusible ink. Wait, I don't want that. Let's do happy birthday. And you know, birthday doesn't have an F in it, but my fingers don't know that. Okay, first we're going to center this. Let's say we want this on a card. We want to choose writing style. Okay, now we need a card. So to make a card, we're going to make this pink. We're going to make this white. We're going to size this. We're going to click the lock. If I'm going too fast, you can always rewatch and pause the video and do what I do. So this is the width. The width is going to be 8.5 because the card we're making is going to be an A2 size card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So the height is going to be 5 1/2. Okay. So now we have this. We want this to be on top. So we're going to arrange this to the front. And we don't want it centered into the middle of this. That would be crazy. You don't want a card that is like that, okay? We want it to be centered like inside the middle here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this. I am going to unlock the lock and I'm changing the width to 4.25. I'm going to change the color just so we know it's different. We got to move this so it's on top of that. So we're going to arrange the words to the front. And I'm going to line this up. So I'm going to select just the blue card and the white card. And I'm going to click align and right. Just let me tell you. Oh, and we need to also align it to the top. This may not be a way I've ever taught before because every time I do something, I just kind of do it. I don't think, how did I do that last time? I just figure it out again. Okay, so now we have this even. This would be the inside of the card. So I could, to make things easier, I could just hide the actual white card and grab these both. So I have both the writing and this card selected, and I'm going to align them and center. Okay, so now this happy birthday is in the center of this side of the card. So I'm going to bring this card back. They're exactly lined up still. I'm going to hide this blue piece because I don't need it. I was using that to measure with. So now, if I were to hit make it, can you guys tell me what's going to happen? If you are paying attention, you know it's not going to write on my card because I didn't attach. Thank you, Ronald. He says the secret of getting ahead is getting started. Mark Twain. Ronald, thank you so much for these inspirational things. They are amazing, and they were all so true. So what I did is I grabbed them both. See, they're both selected, and then attach. There you go. Now it's attached. I click make it. My writing is in the center of the card, but you also need a score line. So I usually put the score line in first, but I didn't this time. So I'm just going to kind of drag this down here, or I can make it exactly 5.5. And then I would select the score line and the card. Whoops, unselected. Thank you, Kiona. She says, you guys have an amazing day going Cricut shopping with my friend so I can teach her some more. Thanks again, Melody. Thank you, Kiona. Isn't teaching fun? I love teaching Cricut. Okay, we're going to align and center. So the score line is in the center and it won't be there unless I attach it. So we're going to attach it. There we go. Why does yours turn black when you attach? If, depends on what you're attaching. Okay, let's say I have, these are two different colors, and I attach these, whoops. Click attach, they're gonna change to the same color. Because when you attach something, it puts it on the mat together. Ronald, everybody is liking your quotes. We really appreciate it. Ronald, by next week, you will have your special gift. Jamie says, Jeanette, just attach your second score line on top of the first one. I guess, oh, to make a double score line, yeah. If you wanted a double score line, just put another score line right on top of the original. What was my other question? I was gonna, oh, was it about flatten? Okay, I'm going back. Okay, I think I got all those questions. Blessed Mom is asking, do you think we'll ever be able to use other machines in Design Space? No. It's just Cricut designed it, so they would only use it for their machines. Crafter's asking why double score line. Maybe if your score line is not thick enough, you want to do it a couple times. You can't get offline access yet unless you're on the iPad or iPad. It's coming. Awesome, Ronald! Ronald is in the process of creating videos. I have started a website, signsofawesome.com. See, that's why I made that bag say Signs of Awesome, because Mr. Ronald is awesome. Ronald, can we go to your website? Is there anything there yet, or are you just creating it? I'm going there. Oh, I'm not seeing anything. That's because I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. Hold on. I got too many tabs open over here. Let me bring it over. Look, signsofawesome.com, Mr. Ronald. Love it. He makes signs. Yay, Ronald. Do we, I lost my chat. Oh, hold on, I got it. Do we have any other questions? Oh, you make Cricut older machines. Sorry, blessed. No. The reason they would have made them work right away, but they don't have the technology in them to do it. That's why they're not gonna, the older machines won't ever be able to do that. Yeah, and you can click on Ronald's name and subscribe to him. Oh, thank you for bringing that up. The other question. I forgot. Okay. Oh, we're not on Design Space. Hold on. Okay. The other question was about a flag on infusible ink. So I clicked on images, click flag. You can't do printable ones. The printable ones won't work. Why are these people coming up? Flag dancer icons. Oh my gosh, what are flag dancers? That's so funny. I guess I could just pick a flag, huh? I don't even know what this flag is. Arizona flag. We're going to do that as Arizona flag. So this should probably be like any other flag. If you wanted to do this in infusible ink, what I would do, because it's 3 layers, and if I ungroup this, these cuts are here to show you where this goes. And that's there. Instead of doing a full piece of blue and then put red on top of it, because it's ink, blue and red make purple. So these stripes might be purple. That's not what you would want. So I'm going to undo all this. Put it back to how it came. Okay, that's good. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to hide this star. And I'm going to select this. Oh, and it's selecting. Oh, it's still letting me slice though. Slice. So now we have, we want that out of the way. And now we have that there. Let's put this back. We could make sure it's right by aligning top and align left or right, doesn't matter. And then where'd our star go? Ooh, our star disappeared. Uh-oh, we're gonna go back again. Okay, where's the star? There it is. Okay, we're gonna ungroup it. Maybe I will click the star and hold down my shift key and cut. You know what? First, I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to hold the star or click the star, hold the shift key, click that's the wrong blue. Click the blue of the flag, the same flag, and I'm going to slice the star through the flag, the blue. So now I can move this out of the way. I can move that out of the way. No, I don't want to move that out of the way. See, sometimes you just got to think, you know what? I want to put these back. I'm going to weld those back together. Okay. Now I have a solid. No, but I don't want that. What do I want? Hold on. Let me move that to the back. Okay. I want to slice these. I guess I don't want it. Yeah, this is right. I want to move this part. We're going to hide it. Okay. All right, now we're getting there. Because we do want this like that. I was right. I don't want any of that star there because we want the yellow star. But now we have, where's the other part? Okay, see, this is the top part. of the blue up here, we want to change that. So we just have the blue and the red. See? There's nothing behind it. Can align. It doesn't even matter because they're going to cut on different ones. And then we'd put this back. So then when we have this all cut out, we would take the blue piece of the infusible ink and we'd have a sheet of that. Then we're going to have these red pieces. We're going to take these red pieces off of the red sheet of infusible ink and place them on the blue one right where they go. And then we're going to take this yellow piece, the star, and we're going to put that right in the center. Mama, this is how I would do it with the infusible ink transfer paper. It's how I did the Signs of Awesome one. You would take it out and place it in a spot. So let me delete this just because we don't need this. We don't need these. Let's click Make It. Okay, so this would cut out and we'd have the transfer piece. We would cut around this, so we just have this piece. We would weed out these pieces that we don't see here. You'd weed out that star area and these pieces. And then we would have this one. We would take this off of the plastic clear transfer paper and after it's cut, and we would set it inside here, right where we want it to go. And then this one, we would pull each piece off. I would do one at a time and place it on top of this transfer paper. So it looks on the transfer paper cut out. It would look just like it looks here, and then press it down all at one time. Beth Penn, yes, you could do the flat, you could do this the same way with regular iron-on. So you don't have many layers of iron-on, but with iron-on vinyl, you can't peel it off like you can the infusible ink. So what I would do is I would put the blue layer down first for like 5 to 10 seconds, peel off the back. I would lay the first one down first, the blue one. 5-10 seconds, heat it up, and then let it cool or whatever it needs to do and peel off the liner. Then put the red layer down for like 5 or 10 seconds, peel off that liner, and then put the yellow one down. And if the yellow does not cover up all of it, make sure you have maybe the blue one back to cover up the whole thing because you want it all covered. And then do it for the full time of 30 or 40 seconds, whatever the iron-on calls for. Oh, and guys, talking about the meet and greet, I will be at the Orlando meet and greet August 16th. Ashish is going to be there. We're going to Michael's, and we're going to have free lunch and dinner. You got to choose one. That might be full. It's been full 3 times, I think. So it might be full. But if you're going, I'm going too. They asked me to go to both of them. Okay, have you learned something today? Peggy Swain is asking, will all images flatten? Yes, I think all images will flatten. Okay. What is next week is the first Saturday of the month, so I'm going to do viewer mail. I think I have some, if I have viewer mail. My assistant gets my mail and puts it away in a spot for viewer mail. And it'll be after class. I don't have anything planned for the class. If you want me to show you something, let me know. I do have like over 100 classes. Tom wants to know what's the difference between infusible ink and sublimation ink. Infusible ink is made up of 5 different mediums. It does have sublimation in it. It does have sublimation as one of the ingredients. And it is, I don't know, it has other chemicals in there. But it works a lot like sublimation ink. But you can cut it. You can pick it off. I don't know. I've never used sublimation ink. I know it's easy and fun, and I love it. Okay. Marianne says, do you know where we go after Michael's? I don't know. They're going to tell us. All right. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, everybody on Facebook, for being there also. All right, guys. Love you. And Melanie, I have done, check out my iron-on videos. I show weeding. I just showed weeding. What was I weeding? Felt like I was weeding the other day. Weeding vinyl. Oh! When I did my glitter iron-on, my bag with infusible ink, I infused on glitter iron-on. I was weeding there. And I did a whole video on weeding infusible ink, which is different than vinyl. I think they're wanting to do more meet and greets than what are scheduled. I don't know where. I don't know any information yet. I'll follow Ashish Aurora. He always shares that stuff. And when he shares it, I try to share it also. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming. And if you have more questions before my next video, you can always join my group, Cricut Design Space with Melody Lane. There's 240,000 people in there, and it's full of helpful people. If people are ever rude or negative, they're banned. So we try to only let happy, positive people or people asking for help. We like to help. So if you have questions for help, come ask questions. All right. Bye, guys.